Classical art forms are like vast oceans. A dip in its pristine waters, and you will be swimming in it till eternity. It's a work of a lifetime, and for some, many lifetimes. Have you ever watched a beautiful performance and wondered what must be going in to be able to perform at that level of excellence? Clearly, we all know the response is Riyaaz. Do you think the word Riyaaz can be confined to the word practice? To me, it has way more connotations and references. Don't you wish they told you what exactly they do when they say, "Hum Riyaaz karte hain"? Well, these are the questions that intrigued me, and I decided to get some answers. Not to keep them with me, but to share with the world at large the vision of these artists, their secrets. Hence the series
राज रियाज का।
Namaskaram and a very warm welcome to the very first episode of Raaz Riyaaz Ka Season 2. And today we have with us someone very, very special. One of the greatest exponents of our country of Bharata Natyam. Someone who has a magnetic personality and an enthralling charm both on and off stage. And someone who will strike you with a unique thought process and fresh approach to dance. And someone who I can proudly call my guru. Please welcome Shrimati Rama Vaidyanathan.
Thank you so much, Prachi. It's an absolute delight to be at Raaz Riyaaz Ka. I've been watching all the episodes of season 1 and I'm really thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much, Akka, for graciously accepting my invite, and not even once did you even bat an eyelid before saying yes to this. And I must say this to all our viewers that you've been like this, very, very supportive in all our endeavors of your students. So, Akka, just to begin and to warm up, the first question that I want to ask you is, what does the word Riyaaz mean to it? Because our show is all about the secrets and the Raaz of your Riyaaz. So what does the word Riyaaz mean to you, and what is your biggest Raaz?
Okay. Right. For me, Riyaaz does not begin and end in the studio. I think Riyaaz is a way of life. It's like a vast, vast ocean. And Riyaaz is not only about practicing what you know, but also practicing what you don't know. In the sense, like for example, you are in a temple and you look at the sculpture of a Devi, you try to imitate the way she has, the deflection of her hip, the way she holds her hands, or you look at a bird flying and you capture the movement of that bird into, you put it into memory plus. And how does that bird fly? How does a peacock walk? Or how does a baby cry? And how does a mother respond to the baby? So I think Riyaaz for a dancer is to find dance in everything and to accept and to imbibe that dance within you. And also it is about not just practicing your adavus and the compositions that you have learnt in the margam, or if you're doing a new choreography, practicing that. But I think it's also about exploring the form, in the sense, switch on some music and try something spontaneous that comes out of your body. So I think you need to unlock the dance within you, and I think that is the biggest thing that Riyaaz does to you. It should not restrict you to mechanically practice the pieces, physically and emotionally, but I think it is to unlock that creativity within you, and then that is what will make it spontaneous. Sometimes, something that you do absolutely spontaneously and absolutely unplanned comes out very beautifully, and it becomes a part of your dance. So Riyaaz is exploring the form, going beyond the form.
I think like the idiom is your base, and then what you do around it is what you've always said also.
Yes, yeah, I think it's important to have a macroscopic view of life and not a microscopic view, because art reflects life, they say. So when we dance, we are a sum total of our personality, of who we are, of what our experiences have been, and what we have read, what we have seen, you know, what we have experienced. So I think it is very important to live life to the fullest, and then that itself I feel is Riyaz. That itself, you're preparing yourself for your dance.
So I have to share this with our viewers that there is so much that has been spoken and there's so much that has been shared through the pandemic. In fact, I even hesitated because when I was talking to Akka would be like, okay, I've already said so many things, but Akka, I have to tell you one thing, that for you, many things may sound as a repetition, but for all of us, it is reiteration. So every time you hear the same things also, if at all, over and over, it's like hitting that nail on the head. And the second thing is, I have to share this, she always finds something new to everything that she's already said, and I really don't know how you do that. So we are also hoping through this conversation we'll get to hear a lot of that. So Akka, the follow-up question to that I had was, how different was your Riyaz when you were, say, in your 20s and 30s, and how has it evolved to now? And what you wish you had done and not done then and now?
Okay, so you know, in my 20s and 30s, it is pretty much what I saw my Guru Yamini Amma practice. So she would practice a full Varnam, and she would take a 2-minute break, and she would practice the Varnam again.
Oh my God, and that's what you did?
That's what I did throughout my 20s and 30s. Any practice meant doing the composition twice back to back, never once, always back to back. And the other thing that I did was, practice time was not fixed. You know, like from 7 to 10 I'm going to practice. There was no fixed slot. Even now I don't have a fixed slot for practice. It has to be at a very leisurely pace, and I think we need to revel in our practice, and only then can we enjoy, and then only then can we practice, because we will do what we enjoy, and then we have to enjoy what we do. So that will happen only if we do not practice with an agenda, if we don't have a fixed, you know, thing, I need to start at this time and I need to end at that time. There has to be time to stop your practice, reflect on what you did, think, fantasize, dream, maybe refer to notes, look at a sculpture or a painting or a poem that is referring to the composition that you're doing, because it is all inclusive. All of this makes practice, give that quality, and that is what will endeavour towards excellence. So I think that leisured way in which you practice, that is how I do. But your question about what you
wish you had.
Yeah, but okay, so let me tell you, now I don't do the practice back to back. I did it only in my 20s and 30s, but it really helps now.
I think you've sustained and you've reached with this kind of agility and the kind of, you're doing like proper, you know, Murumandi and all those adavus like with such ease even now. In fact, we are learning the Mayura Alaripu right now from you, and the word that stuck with me today was, you said about it should be heavy. So, Akka, can you elaborate that also after you finish this a little bit about the heaviness, but it should seem light?
Yes, I think again that is gaining mastery over the form of having absolute control of the movement, and even if a movement is going fast, but in my mind I'm doing the movement very slowly, in the sense my whole body is invested in that movement. And but for somebody who sees it, for that person it has to be as though the movement is light and effortless. So that again comes out of Riyaz.
So Akka, I want to ask you about this injury that you had once, and you've told us this story many times, and every time I hear it, it sends a chill down my spine. And I want to know about how you recovered from that, because I know many dancers there who are either right now suffering from it or have kind of given up hope, thinking that no, this is it. So what do you want to tell them about your experience?
So I was in my late 30s when I tore my ligament on my knee, and it was like I was flat, and I did not understand how this is going to work out. But then I had an ACL repair and my ligament was reconstructed, and the doctor gave me a very, very huge set of physio exercises to do, and he said I need to do it on both my knees, even though only my right knee had got affected. The silver lining in the cloud is that my knees became stronger than before. So I was in my late 30s at a time when my aramandi is supposed to dwindle down, but it started actually improving because of the strong physio exercises that I did. So that really helped.
But I think the point to be noted here for everyone is that first of all, you didn't give up. You didn't give up that spirit, and then you also followed what the doctors told you, and then you kept at it. And I think even now some of those exercises we incorporate as a part of our warm-up. Akka, you have to share some of those exercises with us.
Okay. So
in the Riyaaz.
So I call it dancercises, exercise which actually help dancers, and exercises which are like dance.
Correct.
So I feel a lot of things that we do in fitness, in regular fitness in the gym, does not help Bharata Natyam dancers to get the agility and the strength for our kind of physical expansion that we need. So I have developed some dance movements which are also like exercises, which actually help in core strength and build up of stamina. So that actually came out of the physiotherapy exercises that I did.
So Akka, you have this, I don't know how, you have these many hats that you wear. So when I see your wardrobe, I imagine that you have these multiple hats: ace performer, ace guru, ace choreographer, wife, daughter, now grandmother. I mean, that's like the latest hat on your head. How do you balance all these hats? Because I know there are many mothers out there who have young children, and somewhere they feel that's okay, that's also sometimes an excuse that we kind of take, oh, I have kids and I can't manage. How do you do this, and what is your tip and Raaz for them?
I think time management is crucial, and to be invested in what you are doing at that moment. Like if I'm being a mother, I'm invested at that moment, completely being the mother, and if I'm teaching, I'm completely invested in teaching. I'm not using my mind space thinking about anything else. And I think spending less time on social media and If you see my phone, Prachi, you know my phone hardly ever rings.
Yeah, it almost never rings.
Yeah, it almost never rings.
But you still have the time even to respond to our messages. Like if I was to message you, I know you will respond. So that also is a beautiful balance, because it's not like you don't look at your phone at all. So that's interesting how you do that.
Yeah, I think it is, this is the time and age where we get addicted to social media and a lot of things revolving around it. I think especially for dancers, we shouldn't be slaves to social media. Actually, we have to be the master to social media and use it to the best of our advantage and not let it overpower us or overwhelm us. And I realize that it can really take away a lot of your time. So that really messes around with time management.
I think, Akka, you said something very beautiful fleetingly. You said when you are a teacher, you are a teacher. When you're a mother, you're a mother. I think most often what we end up doing is, when you're being a mother, you're thinking about, I haven't practiced. When you're practicing, you're thinking about, I have left my child doing something. And that, I think, really messes with your mind, because you're neither here when you're here and you're neither there.
Absolutely. I agree. And of course, Prachi, I spoke about having that leisured, unhurried time for Riyaaz. And I know there are a lot of young mothers out there who have children and they have to conclude their practice because they have to go and, be with their children, pick up the children from school. Or I completely understand that. The leisure of an unhurried Riyaaz time that I have now, let me tell you, I did not have it when I was younger.
I wanted to come exactly to
Yes.
that. How was it there?
Yes, so that time, of course, children are small. Yes, and at that time you have that fixed time, That is the time. 1 o'clock they're going to come back from school. So you have just that time from 8 to 1. But I suggest from 8 to 1, keep your phones off. And, not spend time on your phone and just completely focus, invest yourself in what you need to do. And even then I feel it is not only what you're supposed to dance, but also what you're not supposed to dance. You need to actually explore the form, I'm saying that again, and to master it and to go beyond the form. So you need to do that. That also is Riyaaz.
So Akka, when you talk about Riyaaz, we also end up thinking mostly about the physical, you can talk about the stamina aspect or the endeavours or the neatness of lines. But now something like Abhinay, how do you practice Abhinay? What is the Riyaaz for Abhinay?
So even for Abhinay, you need stamina. Oh. Of course, you need stamina of the eyes. The eyes have to be controlled. You cannot have your eyes going haywire. You need control over your spine. You need to be standing erect for Abhinaya. And then you need to have that equanimity of mind, body and soul, and that kind of complete focus on the Sahitya and also the interpretation. So I feel you need stamina for Abhinaya also. So that is something, you develop by constantly doing it. And also, like I said, not just doing it in the studio, also finding expression in the eyes of the deer, finding expression in the eyes of a little fish that you see in the pond. Look for dance, look for Abhinaya in the world around you and capture it. And put it inside you, imbibe it, and marinate in it. It will come out spontaneously in your dance, sometime or the other. So that's why I said one needs to have a very, very wide, macroscopic vision of life.
Absolutely. But if you have to give us something really tangible, like, okay, to start with, this is what you can do.
Right, I can say to start with, do a composition twice back to back. Because it really helps, because the first time you do it, while you're doing it itself, you know where your weak spots are, where you can improve, where you feel that you can change, and then immediately don't keep it for the next day. It's hot at that moment, you do it immediately it works wonders.
And I think it sort of cements also some idea. Like today you spoke about the clarity. I think that also was such a beautiful thought when you said your ideas have to be clear and then the spontaneity.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little?
Clarity of thought. Yes, absolutely. Clarity of thought needs to be there for, I think to excel in anything. You need to have, even for cooking one sambar, you need clarity of thought. What comes after what? So I think even in dance, especially in Abhinaya, you need clarity of thought, what the sahitya is, what is the interpretation. And the other Raaz of the Riyaz can be, I think self-appraisal is the best appraisal. You know, because if you are a serious dancer and if you are really serious about achieving heights of excellence, let me tell you, you are your best critic. And you yourself will understand where you need improvement, where are you going wrong, not just by looking to the mirror, not just by anybody telling you, just while you're dancing you need to be aware. And we should always have this, I think self-doubt sometimes is important, you know, because it should not get into overconfidence. So I think the self-appraisal is important, and to work on it yourself. Self-study, I always say, is really good.
So how do you recommend self-appraisal? Like maybe have either use the mirror or record yourself? How would you
use the mirror, record yourself, feel yourself when you're performing. How are you feeling, you know, when you're dancing? And be realistic about what you want to achieve. Be realistic about what you are, and be honest to yourself. Maybe have a fellow dancer sit with you, and you know. And I think practice sessions, Riyaz sessions with dance buddies, I think it's very important. We need to develop that. You know, dance buddies getting together to do their Riyaz.
But mainly, of course, you would stress that your teacher and your guru is
Of course, yes, of course.
the main person that you go to.
Yes, of course, guru and teacher will be telling you, but there are a lot of things that you can, you know, find out about yourself and work on it.
Before you even go to your teacher or guru.
Absolutely.
And Akka, what is the scope for manodharma in Abhinaya and on stage, like in that sense?
So I feel manodharma is something that comes spontaneously. Again, Riyaz, practice, I said, of going out of your comfort zone, like just putting on any other music, not the music of the padam or the kirtanam or the varnam that, you know, you are working on. Any other music, and just start emoting an emotion. And like I do those exercises with all of you, start emoting the emotion, and that is what will, like I said, unlock the emotions within you, and that will help you in manodharma. And of course, understanding the sahitya and understanding the interpretation, reading literature around the sahitya. You know, it's not just, if you're doing an Ashtapati, it's not just enough to know the word and meaning of every word of the Ashtapati. It's important to know other poets who wrote, you know, around that time, and what was the general mood of Bhakti Sringara at that time. And looking at sculptures, looking at paintings which speak about Krishna and Radha's life. So there has to be a very holistic approach, and it is these things that will help you in manodharma.
So true, because at that point you don't know what source you're drawing from to deliver that idea. So Akka, that brings me to this very important aspect, which is choreography. You've done some path-breaking choreographies in terms of, say for example, moving boundaries. And I remember very clearly this one example or a metaphor that you had given about the flying kite. You know, it stays with me completely, because what you said was, you know, exploring your choreography or dance is like this flying kite, where you fly in the sky, but that one string is there holding you down. And the beauty of that metaphor is this, that if you cut that string, you will just go astray, and you're going to nosedive down. So related to that, I want to ask you about how would you advise Riyaaz for choreography? Like if somebody is an aspiring choreographer, how should he or she work towards that?
So I feel going out of your comfort zone again. So I think choreography will happen only if you take dance out of the classroom.
Okay.
You know, you literally have to emotionally, mentally take dance out of the classroom and not get restricted by the parameters of the dance form and what you have learned. That doesn't mean that you go astray with the core principles of the dance form. You know, you can never go astray with the core principles of the dance form if you've had a good sound training. So I think choreography will help if you are going towards movements and interpretations and poetry and literature and sculptures and paintings and experiences, if you react to them, respond to them, and if you look at them and imbibe them, like I always say, take a screenshot and put it inside you. You know, take a screenshot. If you see a bird fly, take a screenshot. There's a bird flying there. Now look at the way it's gliding. It's not flapping its wings. So we always show flapping wings for birds, but sometimes birds just glide in the sky like that, you know. So watch it, look at it, and take a screenshot. So be alert for anything that is beautiful and aesthetic and anything that life offers you, and that is what is going to help you in choreography.
Okay, we'll take a moment to just absorb that idea. Okay, and Akka, I think everyone has also this one pertinent question, because we assume and we believe that you never take a day off. So is it true? Do you practice every day?
Okay, so somebody asked me, so do you wake up at 5 a.m. and do yoga? I said, if that is the impression everybody has, so be it. No, of course I take a day off. I think it's very, very important. Like I said, when you when I was playing the role of a grandmother, I was completely invested.
Yeah.
In being
I remember you said no class for the next 1 month because I'm going to become a grandmother.
Yes. So I do take time off, but not too much. I think the maximum time I may have taken off without dancing, apart from that period when I had my 2 children or I had my injury. You know, only those were the times where I may not have danced for, say, 4 months or something. But otherwise, I don't think I've taken off more than 2 weeks.
How involved was Nani in your Riyaaz? Because I know she is an instrumental person, the reason that you are where you are today. And every mother is with her child a certain way, but how successful was she in getting you to maybe practice? How involved was she in your practice routine?
Okay, so let me tell you, the whole concept of practice was introduced to me by my mother. You know, because I was 6 when I would go for dance class, and I would come back, and the next day my mother would say, okay, come, practice. I said, what? So, you know, that is how I understood that there is something called practice. And she was the one who actually instilled that discipline of practice in me. You know, kids will be playing outside in the park, my friends would be playing, or there would be a birthday party where my friends would go to. My mother would say, finish your practice and then go. So that 1 hour of practice I would do, and she would be sitting there watching me practice, giving me corrections, and only then would she allow me. You know, at that time I would be upset and I would be, you know, angry, and sometimes I would even cry. But now I'm so thankful she did that, because she instilled that discipline and that importance of practice, and that really helped me, because when I went back to class, it was as though I know the previous steps very, very well. So she was the one who was very, very insistent.
And I know how she would be, like she would also have a critical view about your performance. She would tell you, and she has been like your shadow throughout. So I think she played a huge role.
Absolutely.
So on the day that you have a very important performance, how does your day pan out?
Yeah, I keep myself absolutely tension free. I keep myself very, very calm. I read. I just sit and I do little prayers, a little time to just meditate. I eat a very, very light lunch. That's important. I can't have a heavy lunch. And I drink orange juice and I eat bananas.
That is just before.
Yeah, just before the performance, orange juice and bananas. And that's all. I'm just focused on the performance. I'm not kind of practicing because it's too late to practice in any case. But I'm just focused on any one aspect of the performance. How will I do that this evening? It's exciting, and I build up the excitement within me. I build it up gradually. I purposely build it up, and I feel happy and I feel nice about it. I build it up like that, and after the performance, I choose not to review too much about what I have done. Anything which has been good or anything which has not been too good or whatever, I don't dwell on it too much. I'm actually thinking of the next performance as soon as the performance is over. Yes.
For most often, you will be on with a suitcase on the next flight to the next city.
Yeah. So after the performance, I really like to relax. So that's what I do.
And I think what you said was beautiful, because most often we tend to become so nervous about. So this is something that I read somewhere also. It's called suppressed excitement. So rather than using the word nervous, if we say suppressed excitement, and I think which is also what Akka said, you build up that excitement and it just makes you release all that excitement a lot better on stage rather than being nervous and tensed, because you attach a very negative sort of a reference to these words, whereas excitement sounds so much more.
Yes, I think building up that excitement is good, and I think resting after a performance or a big performance tour is important, because body needs rest. We cannot abuse our body, so rest period is also important.
So Akka, related to that only, I wanted to ask you, what would you recommend that dancers eat and drink, or what should they not eat and drink, like nutrition, diet, any suggestions?
I think it's important to have a very high protein diet, whether you're a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, to have a high protein, low carb diet and avoid sweets and fried stuff. And I don't think what I'm saying is anything new. This is something, you all know. But I also feel that every dancer's constitution is different, and you need to understand what works for you. And if you feel that yes, I do need that little sweet after every meal, and I think you should just go ahead. And if you feel that you really need that high content of carbohydrates, you should just go ahead. And you just need to understand what your body needs. At the end of the day, you need to have the strength and the agility to dance, but at the same time you can't go overboard and and eat a lot of high calorie, fatty foods on a daily basis. I think that needs to be avoided. You can binge sometimes though.
You can have your cheat days, as they call it. So yes, that was a whole lot of learning from Akka, and of course a huge inspiration. And now we know exactly what is Akka's Raaz Riyaaz Ka. And then I get very excited at this point, Akka, because this is the rapid fire round, and this is rapid fire round of Raaz Riyaaz Ka season 2 with Srimati Rama Vaidyanathan.
Oh my god, you're excited and I'm tense.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, and this is a rapid fire round, so you have to answer as rapidly as you can. A classical dance style that you like other than your own.
Odissi.
Number of hours you reach the airport before a flight.
3.
This was just for all of you to know. She reaches 3 hours before a flight.
A domestic flight. Because I love shopping in the airport and eating in the airport.
Favorite seating in the audience, front, middle, back.
Middle.
Number of countries you've traveled to.
I think about 25.
Sunset or sunrise.
Sunrise.
Most favorite space to perform across the world.
Music Guillemets in Paris.
Can you tell us what it was like? We'll cut the rapid fire here for a short bit just to hear your experience.
Oh, it was really nice because I love the audience in France because they're so clued in with dance, and they really know what Bharata Natyam is. And I did 2 shows back to back, and they were completely sold out shows.
Wow. One thing that you absolutely can't do without in your dance aharya.
Neti Chutti.
Who is that one person who inspires you?
My mother-in-law, Rama Vaidyanathan.
Of course, we all know what a huge support she's been for you throughout your life and dancing career. Like, we know you've told us how she used to babysit Sanu and Daku so that you could practice. So yes.
When not dancing, you'd rather?
Read.
Okay, Riyaaz in the morning, Riyaaz in the evening.
Oh, definitely in the morning.
That was amazing, and you excelled in your rapid fire round.
Thank you. You owe me a hamper.
Okay, Akka, done. Hamper is done. And you can fill it yourself, whatever you want in it. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. And this has been absolutely, how do I say? It was a lot of entertainment also, apart from all the learnings that we had. So thank you, Akka, for making it so engaging. And I'm so happy that you came on Raaz Riyaaz Ka.
Thank you, Prachi. Thank you so much. Absolute delight.
When one uses the word secret, one feels it's something that should not be shared. It should be guarded. But why should knowledge such as this be guarded and not shared? If shared, it will only result in making better and more dedicated artists, and that, in turn, will only benefit the art. We are fortunate to have such artists in the series Raaz Riyaaz Ka, who are breaking the notion of their Riyaaz being a Raaz.
राज रियाज का